Hello my friends, Easy Italian Granddad here. Welcome to this very basic course on how to speak Italian like an Italian. This series of lessons will be aimed primarily at English-speaking people. Anyway, even if your language is another one, you can certainly find this useful. In the first introductory lesson, we're going to deal with vowels and, of course, how to pronounce them. But relax and take your time, please. I like to do things the easy way and also having some fun. This is the right way to learn things. So follow me and I'll drive you to the good Italian speaking. So easily, I will give you tips on how to pronounce Italian like an Italian. I will confide you some little secrets on how to start thinking like an Italian. And as if by magic, to your surprise, with no efforts, you'll find that you're pronouncing Italian perfectly. Well, some of you may have some knowledge of Italian language, while many probably have no knowledge at all. However, everyone comes across some Italian words here and there, especially when we're talking about food, fashion, art and design, classic music, history, tourism, etc. You listen to Italian words that are said by someone and wonder, is this pronounced correctly or is it mispronounced? More often, maybe, you find words and names written somewhere, and you have no clue how to pronounce them. So this is a very basic course for reading and pronouncing Italian words like Italians do. And do you think you are terrible at languages? Speaking any other language is really hard for you? Well, even if that's the case, this is the right course for you. Remember, this is a course for beginners, for very beginners. Let's say for abecedarians, okay? So we learn things step by step. Very easy steps. Just follow me. I know some of you are studying the language or want to learn a little more, just to feel at ease when visiting Italy, or for professional reasons because it's useful for your work or your study, or maybe just for fun. And now we're witnessing a new trend. A lot of people are taking Italian citizenship and a passport iure sanguinis, that is by descent. Or people are in the process to obtain that, preparing documents, etc. So you're going to become an Italian citizen and you can't say a word. Maybe one day you pass by an airport, they read your passport and address you in Italian because you are supposed to be in Italian. And you can't say anything correctly in this language. Not possible. And there are people who want to acquire citizenship after living in the country for a certain period of time. They must take a language exam. In this case, with good pronunciation, you make good impression for your exam right from the start. Please take into account that Italians are usually very helpful when you visit the country. As soon as they understand that you're a foreigner, they are often willing to accept that you speak wrongly. And they won't let you notice. Instead, they will try to understand you anyway. It will be different if you were an Italian. They will say, "Oh my God, how do you talk?" As long as you are a foreigner, you're allowed to speak like that. Somehow, they appreciate your effort. For this reason, many people think they are pronouncing good Italian. But believe me, oftentimes you're speaking badly, and they don't tell you out of politeness. Just to do things calmly, without rushing, let's do some small tests and then we'll go to the specific topic of this first lesson. I show you a writing made with my powerful graphic tools. How do you pronounce this? Please try. And then I show you another word that does not exist in Italian. Spaghetti. Did your pronunciation resemble more spaghetti or spaghetti? Try and listen to yourself if you can. In case it was this one, then you're speaking wrong, I'm afraid. I want to give here an advice for all my good friends. If you want to know the right Italian pronunciation of a word, don't go searching in the Wikipedia pages or dictionaries in English language. These dictionaries always provide you the perfect English pronunciation of words, which is a perfectly wrong pronunciation in Italian, okay? Let's take a look at the very authoritative Cambridge Dictionary as an example. Here is the perfect British pronunciation. Let's listen to it.
Spaghetti.
And the American one.
Spaghetti.
Both of them totally wrong. It also says noun, no plural, but spaghetti is plural. These are spaghetti because there are many. This is a spaghetto because it's one. This is singular. Don't you believe me? Look at here. Lo spaghetto, the singular form. So, my friends, don't trust English dictionaries, English Wikipedia, etc. They teach you the wrong way. We're not going to learn Italian in English, but to learn Italian in Italian. Now I put my spaghetto in the spaghetti package. And you might even find the pronunciation sound by sound, using signs from the International Phonetic Alphabet. Of course, the pronunciation sound by sound is wrong as well. The right pronunciation sound by sound is S, P, A, G, E, T, T, I. Spaghetti. Please always keep this in mind. In all lessons of this course, figuratively speaking, take all your English dictionaries, Wikipedia in English, or whatever, and throw them into the bin, just to be clear. Let's try another word about food, because they're famous words, of course. Try this word now. I chose this one because there are a lot of videos on YouTube teaching how to pronounce it. Then I show you another non-existing word. Fettuccine. Which was your pronunciation? Fettuccine or fettuccine? I'm afraid it was a non-existing one. Please note the number of consonants matters in Italian. It matters a lot. Single consonant and double consonants are not the same. They could be different words with different meanings. When the writing is different, then the pronunciation is different. And a different letter also implies a different sound. E is not E. Finally, still using my powerful graphic tools, let's take the last small test. Please read this. Now, was it more like Ferrari or Ferrari? Well, my friends, if you fail these little pronouncing tests, then you'd better keep listening to this very basic Italian pronunciation course. Of course, the course is focused on pronunciation. Some situations where you find words here and there, or full sentences, or even an entire text that you want to read and pronounce correctly. Other things like grammar, syntax, dictionary, the meaning of words and sentences, fluency, etc. You can find all that elsewhere if you want. Or I might think about doing other courses in the future, maybe. Who knows? But here we only talk about how to imitate a good pronunciation. Because yes, my friends, pronunciation is mostly a matter of being a good imitator. This is true for every language. You need to try to be a good actor and play the role of someone who speaks that language as a native. It is so simple, and it is funny too. If you think about that, you try a few times, you stumble upon some difficulties, but by persisting and improving, you will become more and more confident. This is the only way to achieve good pronunciation and perhaps fluency in a new language. Try asking yourself a question like, how would I speak if I were French, or Spanish, or Russian, German, Italian maybe? Then try speaking your own language that way. Many people don't feel like doing this because they feel ridiculous or ashamed. In fact, this is the skill of comedians who imitate foreign accents to make people laugh. But if you don't try this, if you don't overcome that bit of shame, feeling a little ridiculous imitating another language, then you will never achieve good pronunciation. Sometimes I hear American friends or people saying words like marinara, carbonara, linguine, dolce and gabbana, mezzo soprano, etc. I tell them, you're pronouncing it wrong. They say, but this is how we pronounce Italian words here in America. Well, my friends, you in America are pronouncing wrong. That's so simple. Then I make them listen to the correct pronunciation and they say, but I cannot say like that. People will laugh at me. They will think I'm trying to act cool, like a pretentious European. So why do you pronounce it wrong? To blend in with common people and not getting too noticed, right? The problem is when you come to Europe, visiting Italy or another country, if you are the type of person, the right way to blend in with Italian common people is pronouncing it right. Otherwise, you are immediately noticed as the usual American tourist or British, etc. In any case, as a foreigner, they won't make you notice maybe, but your pronunciation is, alas, ridiculous for a native. So, without further ado, let's go to the topic of this first lesson, that is, vowels, because we're going to start from the base of the base. What are we talking about when we say vowels? It's about these 5 letters. A, E, I, O, U. I think you know these ones because when you write English words, you're using the same. But they're quite different when you read them. A, E, I, O, U. But let's start very easily from what you know, that is your own language. I don't want you to think I make you do difficult things. Please read this one normally as you do in English. A. Are you curious to see what you said in Italian? You said A. When you say A reading this, an Italian thinks you've said this. This is my secret, guys. I like you try to think like an Italian from the very first moment. So let's think like an Italian. You won't regret this. Now please, say this one normally in your language, of course. E. Well, you said E for an Italian. Are you confused? It's very simple. Sounds are different. Now try this. I. What was it? I. What comes next? O. That's O. And finally this one. U. It sounds like you. Or maybe you in Italian. Please note, these are 3 vowels for an Italian, right? Of course, none of these words exist in Italian. But this is how they sound. We can notice that vowels in English are sort of meandering sounds to the ear of an Italian. They often have longer duration and may involve more vowel sounds. Also, the specific sound of a written vowel is not predetermined. It's not unique, but it depends on the word we are pronouncing. Each written letter has many different sounds, and different letters may have the same sound when you find them in different words. There is no correspondence between sounds and the signs you use to write them. We will see instead that Italian is much more categorical and straightforward. When you see a written letter in Italian, its sound is predetermined, no matter what word it's in or what the meaning is. You can pronounce good Italian without knowing the meaning of the words you're saying, my friends. Yes, this is a fantastic, extraordinary thing about Italian, as well as other languages that are very phonetic. It happens like this to me with Russian, for instance, or German, languages that I don't know apart from a little bit. They say I have a good pronunciation. The problem is I don't know what I'm reading, but it makes a good impression at first. And you can do the same with Italian. Well, how do we translate vowels into Italian? We say vocali, a derivative of voce, meaning voice. Why are they called like this? Because they are the fundamental sounds on which the voice is built. In practice, voice is nothing else than a continuous passage from one to another of these sounds, with some other sounds called consonants in between. We will realize how downright true this is in Italian. So, to establish a correct pronunciation, we must absolutely start from vowels. This is undisputable. Now, let's listen to the sounds again. A, E, I, O, U. Do you notice how the sounds are coming out like instantaneous outbursts? They're pure, immediate, quick sounds without modulations. There's no time to make modulations because they are so short. These are the vowels you find in a written text. But here we need to clarify one thing, which makes the panorama a little more complicated, but just a little bit. There are two of these vowels which can be pronounced in two different variations. Not a lot like in English, but only two variations. They are E and O. They can be pronounced E or E, O or O. Did you notice the difference? Thus, the spoken sounds are in total 7, actually. This is the moment, my friends. Please forget everything you know about your vowels. Only listen to these sounds and try to repeat them. A, E, I, O, O, U. We identify the different sounds here by placing accents over them. Grave accent or acute accent. In some specific circumstances, you can find the accent written like this over a vowel. They have an accent written above them when they come at the end of a multisyllable word and are stressed. But normally they don't have it. So you will find these variations written the same way, without an accent. However, we do write the accents here for convenience, just to distinguish their sounds. And here they are. Let's repeat them. A, E, I, O, U. A, I, O, U. These 7 are all the vowel sounds you will hear in Italian. It's all here. Try and repeat them, please. You should repeat these sounds lots of times in order to get familiar with the pronunciation. As soon as you master these 7 sounds, speaking Italian becomes a very simple thing for you. It's just a matter of pronouncing these sounds in no particular order and placing other sounds, the consonants, in between. A, I, O, U. In comparison, you have 12 vowel sounds in English plus 8 diphthongs, 20 in all. And your vowel sounds usually have variable scripts. They can come from different letters or combinations of letters. If you think what we're studying here is difficult, just try to think the other way around. How difficult it can be for an Italian to learn the English vowel sounds, which are written without their own specific symbols, but using any vowel sign, same letters for different sounds, or same sounds with different letters or groups of letters. Please read this again as you do in English. I, and then this. I. It seems like the same sound. There and there. Where, or why not, where. Or try reading this, right, and this, right. So you have same sound with different writing. Now please, how do you read this? read? Why not read? And this, live? Why not live? Present or present? This last kind of difference, where the stress position is changed, could be present in Italian too. But in English, the sounds of non-stressed vowels are changed too. Present, present. That's not possible in Italian. So, same spelling, different sound. You know, we could find thousands of examples where written words in English contain the same letters or groups of letters, but the reading is totally different. Or, as we've seen before, the reading is the same, but with different spelling. Well, this will be inconceivable in Italian, where you have a fixed correspondence between writing and pronunciation. That happens in English because it uses an alphabet which was designed for another language, that was Latin. Yes, you're using the Latin alphabet, my friends. That's why expert glottologists created another alphabet called the phonetic alphabet to define the exact pronunciation of words. But Italian is the modern form of Latin. The Latin alphabet is perfectly suited to it. Italian people don't feel the need for a phonetic alphabet to know the correct pronunciation of a word, because the Latin alphabet is also phonetic for Italian. If you ask Italians how to pronounce a word, they will answer, as it's written. I understand you could be confused when you learn a new language because of the mess English makes on this matter. Without even knowing, you are used to that mess. You might believe that speaking another language involves another similar mess. Well, this is not the case with Italian. You will see how easy it is in this language to guess the right pronunciation just looking at how a word is written. We'll learn the sounds you need to pronounce Italian correctly and the correspondence between written letters and sounds. Then, only a few simple and clear rules that help you with some letters which can have two different sounds. And that's all. Only with the different sounds of these two vowels, e and o, when the accent is not written. There are no rules except fluency and getting acquainted with the language. But that's a matter of accent. Really, this peculiarity often allows to identify the origin of a speaker from a specific region of Italy. So, if you don't pronounce the correct standard sounds e, I, o, u, at most they might mistake you for an Italian with some regional accent that they don't know. That's not a problem. You sound quite Italian anyway. My friends, Italian pronouncing is pure music. This is the only language in the world which was created by poets. Really, you know, poets are masters who transform writing into a form of art. Basically, poetry consists in writing a text which can be put in music. And the Italian language was created by poets like this, with metrics, rhythm, rhymes, and everything else, like a magnificent architecture supported by pure mathematical rules. On the next lesson, we will learn something more about vowels, in particular I will show you a simple, interesting method to correctly produce these 7 sounds with your mouth. It's a sort of trick that I created on purpose for you, my friends. If you like this way of learning how to speak Italian, please subscribe to the Easy Italian Granddad channel. Leave comments and preferences down below. Click the like button. You can propose what interests you most about Italian pronunciation, how to improve the channel or a single lesson, a topic to be covered in a lesson, anything you want. Cari amici, arrivederci alla prossima. Ciao!